This is going to be a bit of an interesting one today, so stick with me. I wanted to do a reflection entitled, Why Computer Programmers Turn to Christ. This is a phenomena that I see in the online world not irregularly, in which you have this, we'll call it an influencer in the technology space, talks about computers, talks about programming, talks about science and all of these different things, and then 2 years later, they turn to Christ. They turn to Christianity, and some of them even leave the internet forever. I've seen this in my own trajectory, and I wanted to share some thoughts on it because I know that this is not a uncommon phenomena. Just a couple weeks ago, Denshi, I'll tag the video in here, posted about his Catholic books. A very popular technology YouTuber, Luke Smith, has also espoused Orthodox persuasions in his videos. And it's not lost on me that this seems to be the route that many programmers, but also those in the scientific world, go. It really interested me because I've seen it in my own progression. Let's get into it. The first thought that I have is that programmers are very truth-seeking. So what that means is that they want to find the reason for things. They want to find out why things work. When you write a function and it works, it's not enough that it works. A lot of the time we wonder why it works. And I know that I've previously experienced this many times, is that I write something, I fire up the terminal, I execute the program, and it works. Why? It shouldn't. In all actuality, this is not something that should function, but it does. So the why is very important to this sort of field of thinking. The how less so, but the why is the big question. When I was much younger I would have been 3 or 4 years old. I asked the circular why question with my dad, and God bless him. I'm sure he was tremendously annoyed, and I'm sure that I'm going to reap what I have sown. But it was this, and I'm sure you've played this game. Why is something a certain way? Well, because of this. Well, why is it that way? And you continue going down the rabbit hole, we'll call it, and this is another point that I'll make in a second here, to the umpteenth why that can't be answered. You keep going down and down and down and down and down until there's an answer that there is none, right? The thing that I've personally come to in my own life is that everlasting why, there's only 2 explanations for it. Nothing and God. And in that understanding, you start to see that for every why, it's either one of those 2 answers. And truthfully, you can choose which one it is, but we'll get into that. The second thing I think that really draws programmers to Christianity is that it's a rabbit hole. And when I talk about this, I'm talking about Orthodox Christianity, with a little o. So, I mean, the Roman Catholic and the Orthodox routes both have tremendous depth of theology, and they trace their lineage back to the apostles. It traces its lineage back to the church fathers. And all of those writings, you could spend a lifetime on those writings, let alone the Bible. Programmers are comfortable with going down rabbit holes. I view God as perhaps the ultimate rabbit hole, the never-ending progression towards Him is the ultimate rabbit hole. And I think that programmers are comfortable with rabbit holes. When you start looking into computers, you never know all there is to know. There is another layer of complexity, another layer of abstraction. And until you get to the bare metal, you don't really know what's going on. And I think that that is the love of the programmer, is the rabbit hole. The third reason I'll give that I feel like programmers turn to God and Christianity is that of the Boolean operation. When you're learning about Boolean operations, true and true, true and false, false and false, etc., if something is true and it's also false, it's always false. In life, I know that I was personally seeking that which was always true. It got to the point where I wanted truth more than I wanted anything else. I wanted it more than I wanted to be happy. I wanted it more than anything. I wanted to live truthfully. And it got to the point where I drove myself into this point of almost psychosis, looking at what was real, what was true. I looked outside my window and I asked myself that question: what is true? What is real? The answer that came to me was higher order operations, higher order things. It wasn't the room that I was sitting in. That's not reality. When you get down to the quantum level, this is all essentially energetic. And when that is a thought that's in your mind, this all falls away. So I was looking for real reality. I was looking for truth. The only answers that I could come up with were the things of love, of meaning, of purpose. But these were concepts. These weren't material things you could reach out and grasp. And this is what was interesting to me, is that as soon as I came to that conclusion of what reality was, there was only one direction to go. There is only one person that has espoused that true reality. There's only one person that has lived his life in a way that is cohesive and melding with that true reality. And the moment that I understood that, it was this breakthrough moment. And I was like, oh. The interesting thing about programmers is they want truth a lot of the time more than they want anything else. And you have two routes that you can go as a programmer. I'm God, and I made everything happen. This program is me. Or the other route, which is what I believe to be the truth. It's interesting because in other scientific endeavors, physics specifically, you have this delicateness, this house of cards, truthfully, that exist because scientists have stood on the shoulders of giants. But the thing is you have this very fragile structure. Physics a lot of the time is a understanding of the material world around us. But I truthfully don't believe that it is the discipline of understanding reality. When you pull out one of those cards in that house of cards that is physics, it topples over. And we're seeing this in all things: gravity, relativity, etc. I'll touch on this one point as well, is that relativity has seemingly become a philosophy and a understanding of how society works in our modern time. People are moral relativists. They think that good is a measure only because there is bad, but they don't conceive of an ultimate good. They don't conceive of something that is only good. They say that all things are relative based on how they measure one to another. And I don't believe that anymore. There was a point in my life where I did believe that, but I don't think that that is truth. Am I the only one that has been experiencing this phenomena in the online world? I've seen it time and time again, where programmers specifically, they either go off into the woods, leaving technology behind to go all, I don't want to say Unabomber, but Unabomber, or they turn to Christianity and they turn to the church. Post your comments below. Let me know what you think of this, because it's been on my mind for some time, and it's a thought that I'm hashing out and a conversation I want to have. If you like these videos, feel free to stick around and subscribe. I do a lot of these talking head, thinking out loud type of videos, and also some programming too. So if you liked it, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.